Everybody, Ron Robertson here, sitting at the old piano. Although I want to talk about music in Ireland today. I was just over there for 10 days. And of course, being who I am, all I want to know about is music. Well, I like castles too, and some of those cathedrals, but I want to catch as much music as possible. I was there with my drummer and his wife. So we were doing the music scene as much as we could. 10 days. So you get 2 weekends, go from there. First off, when you're planning your trip for music to Ireland, the small towns and during the week might be slow. The tourist areas, the big tourist areas, are Dublin, Galway, and Kilkenny. Those three places will have music every night of the week. So maybe when you want to go see the Cliffs or the Kiss the Blarney Stone, maybe do that on a Tuesday or something. All right. So as far as international acts, Dublin is the place. Billy Strings was playing there while I was there. I wanted to see it so bad, but it was in a 2,000 seat arena, and getting tickets was impossible. There was a few other Americana type bands there. They like that sort of thing in Dublin. Anyways, 3 days in Dublin. Lots of music in the Temple Quarter. People working in the Temple Quarter and people in the Temple Quarter, they're not Irish. The only people who are Irish there are the musicians. And they were good. Some were whatever. Remember, they're playing to tourists, so you're going to hear a lot of songs you would hear back home, or maybe you don't want to hear anymore, like The Gambler. But Kenny Rogers, that song was everywhere. But there was some Irish music if you requested. Maybe some whistle and or flute playing too. But mostly just solo or dual with guitars. And a lot of times that's all it was. So yeah, Dublin was good. Nice city, lots to see, hop on, hop off, go bus, whatever, all good. So then up to Belfast, nothing going on there. Down to Galway. Galway's happening. The Spanish Quarter there, lots of bars. There's a street or two there with just bars. And some of them are having 4 acts during the day. They start around 2 or 3 o'clock. They all play for about an hour, hour and a half. No drums. Remember, there's no drums here. But you might get the flute if you're lucky, or the banjo and the hand accordion and guitar player and singing. And playing some classic, the dirty old towns, and a lot of classic Irish music that you would know here, and some that you wouldn't. But Galway's good. Then Kilkenny. Kilkenny was the spot. It's got the most castles, I think. Beautiful castles. The bars are spread out a little bit. There's High Street, but it's spread a little bit. Anyways, music any day of the week you want, Kilkenny. And good players. Yes, some of them have to play to the American audience because people want to hear The Gambler. But that's okay. Good players. Duels, singles, a lot of singles. But I enjoyed it. And if you kind of request, if you ask, they will play some more traditional music. I ran into one guy, I got up and played a few songs with him. He knew a lot of kind of obscure stuff, which I was into. Now, let's get to the obscure stuff. There is still an undercurrent, which I was surprised, but there's still an undercurrent in Ireland for the Protestant Irish, England, Ireland, Catholic, You'll see it on some of the history boards around there and stuff. They'll be talking about the fighting that went on. And they make a fair bit out of it. And the one fellow there, he was playing, I would call them IRA songs. And it was interesting. But, stories about people's struggles and the times and their fighting for their religion. And it was just different. And I like that, although I don't want to get involved in the politics. But it was good. There is an undercurrent there, like I said. You need to be aware of. You probably won't even notice it traveling there. But if you know anybody who lives there, or if you talk to people a lot, if you listen, in certain areas you'll hear it. You can see it in some of the museum stuff. Otherwise, Ireland was great. The weather, we never really got rain. It was cloudy almost every day. I highly recommend it for music. Don't expect drums. Don't expect to hear just traditional music. They're playing for the tourists. The bands, or I should say the groups, are busy and working the most where the tourists are. And the tourists are mostly American. And they want to hear some stuff from down home. So that's the way it is. You're very seldom are you going to hear only traditional music. I noticed that one other thing I want to touch on is, like here we have bluegrass and we got a lot of pickers. There wasn't a lot of picking going on. They're mostly concentrating on the song and the story. You know, I think John Prine would fit in so well in Ireland, lived there, but you can understand why when you hear them playing. So in Canada or the US, you're going to get some hot pickers. You're going to hear a lot more instrumental stuff, I think. There, it's more the story and the song. And that's okay. Also, stomp boxes. Everybody uses a stomp box. So because they're playing acoustic, so you know, some are wood and some are metal, but they're just tapping along. And they get that beat going. And it does get kind of repetitive because they're not doing any doubles or triples like a drummer would on his kick drum. But it adds to it. I play once in a while solo. I thought about maybe grabbing a stomp box after watching those guys and girls. Some of the players on the flute or whistle are just phenomenal. So anyways, yeah, like I said, it's worth it. It's the closest flight, shorter flight. I hate flying. So I enjoyed it. Would I do it again? I don't know. Maybe. The music was good. The castles are awesome. The cathedrals are crazy. I'd like to see something with drums. I'm not a drummer, but I play with drummers. I enjoy it. So that was the only disappointing part. Otherwise, it's all good. Anyways, Ron Robertson, ronrobertson.com. It's been a while since I posted. Sorry about that. Been away too. I'll be back. Anyways, if you live in Ontario, Canada, catch me in Southern Ontario. I do play. It's coming to winter, so things are slowing down. We'll catch you on the backside, and if you can't be anything else, be kind. Bye.